Welcome to Single Fathers Today. I'm your host, Mark Hill. This is a podcast that is helping fathers that are going through a divorce, have been through a divorce, or has completed the process and they currently have custody of their kids and they're trying to figure out, what do I do? What do I go for, or where do I go to from here? And with their main focus being on what's best for their kids and going forward in life. For some quick housekeeping, yes, if you look at my podcast, my last podcast show, there was a little bit of a break. I guess you can kind of call it the pilot episode, early season, and looking at doing a renewal. There's been some things that I've been working on the outside, and as you guys know, life happens. So, but we're back. So hopefully we can get a lot more things going. I definitely have you guys give me some input on some topics and questions you guys may have. I'm working on getting several more guests, getting a couple guests in here so we can talk about some things that you guys might be bugging you or questions you may have. I can be reached on email at singlefatherstoday@gmail.com. And as far as the Twitter, if you've been looking at the Twitter, it's been kind of dead lately. I will get that going again. And the Twitter handle is singlefatherstoday. So today's show is going to basically talk about relationships. As one person had mentioned, when is a good time to get involved in a relationship? As you guys know, if you listen to a couple of my shows, I do bring in some personal experiences. This one could consider to be a little bit touching towards me as far as what was going on during the time I went through my separation and my divorce and post-divorce. So here you are as a father, and you've gone through your relationship, you've gone through your divorce, or you're going through the process of divorce, and psychologists and people will say that for every man there's a woman, for every woman there's a man. And everybody, I think most of the people that I've met in life, they don't want to be alone. They want to be in a relationship. They want to have someone that they can share life experiences with, good times and bad, have fun with, just have that bonding connection. And once you're coming out of a relationship or coming out of a divorce, you go through that grieving process. I think it's like the 7 steps or something like that. I know it's with AA, but also it can be applied also to relationships. So the question becomes, when do you get back involved in a relationship, and when do you introduce your kids to that particular individual? There really is no set answer. A lot of psychologists will tell you that there is, or divorce counselors will say there is no timetable, because the main factor is based on you. Where are you at within your healing process, going through it? I've talked with people who've said that, yes, I've been married 15, 20 years, but for the past 5 years, the relationship wasn't working. It was just crap. So you fell out of love with that person maybe 5 years ago. And it's just a matter of paperwork, as they call it. So you've gone through that. You've gotten to that point. Now what do I do? Now where do I go? And who do I talk to? Well, in certain cases, you may have someone that you might have had your eye on for a while, or someone that you might have befriended a while back that might have been going through the same scenario that you was going through. And you may have some people that might not have been saints and might have been separated and found somebody when they were separated but not legally divorced. I will say to myself, I'm not a perfect saint. Far from it. There was a situation where there was a person that was in my life that I had cared deeply about at one time, and there was a lot of things that I had talked with her about and confided in. And when the time actually came for the divorce to be done and be finished, okay, now I'm ready to go ahead and see if I can take that relationship to a different level. The one thing that I can tell you, and I've been on both sides of the coin, where You've been in a situation where you're ready to move on with another relationship. It's your first relationship after your divorce. Some people will probably argue with me and tell me that it's wrong. Some people will tell me and say, yes, it is true. But I've come to the conclusion, this is my personal opinion, I've come to the conclusion that the first relationship that you get into after a divorce or after a breakup will probably fail. And you're going to say, well, what the hell? There's a person that I like. There's a person that I care for. There's a person that I'm really involved with. I think we connect on a certain level. Why are you saying that? The reason why I'm saying it is this. You're still carrying a lot of baggage. You're still carrying a lot of pain. You're still carrying a lot of hurt. In some cases, you may be in a situation where you have a lot of love and emotion that you have built up that you're trying to find somewhere to release. And when I say emotions, I'm talking about loving, caring, emotional feelings that you want to share with someone, you want to give to somebody, and that person that's receiving it on the other end. There's two scenarios. You may have someone who has been single for a while that will accept it, and it may be too overwhelming, kind of like a system overload for them. For you, you're just trying to get it all out. For them, it's like, okay, I can take a certain level or a certain amount of it to a point, but then if you tend to go overboard, that can be a repulsive. It's kind of like too much of something, and it can cause a negative reaction. The other scenario could be if you're an individual coming out of a relationship and you're involved with another individual that's coming out of a relationship, or they're going through their self-discovery process, as in one of the cases that I was in, that to them, you may come in with the mindset that you want to give them everything. You are finding yourself caring for this person, infatuated with this person. This person is just wonderful to you. It meets everything, every criteria that you want. And you're thinking, okay, I'm doing everything right. I have all of this stuff that I want to do, all the stuff that I want to share. And then this person on the other side is not in the same place as you. Now, they may end up eventually getting there, but it may not be at the same pace and at the same time as you. So you find yourself in a situation of, well, what did I do wrong? And then you find yourself in that loop. So you have to take a step back and kind of figure to yourself, okay, when is the good time? And I think that it's all based on your individual, where your pain level is or where your hurt level is, or when you feel that you're ready to take the next step. And the best thing that I can tell people is that when you go out, you have to start at the basic level. And the basic level is you start out being friends. You find someone that, people say they go to dating sites or whatever. You can do that. That's the new millennial way, if you want to call it. I will not advocate any particular sites, but I think you guys already know which sites are already out there. But I would say that the thing is, you start out being friends. You may have women that'll sit there and say, well, the guy, first thing he wants to do, he wants to play around, run games, so on and so forth. If that's what you want to do as a guy, hey, more power to you. That's what you want to do. But if you're serious about a relationship, you have to look at certain things that is important in what you want going forward. And again, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not have a doctorate or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, as an individual, as a man that's been there, done that, not wearing the t-shirt today, but I've had a t-shirt. The thing is, you start out being friends, because by starting out being friends, you can build on that foundation. If you think about when you started a relationship, you have to build that foundation. And that foundation was based off of friendship. And then you go up from there and build those things up. So you have to find out what is the good timing for you. And when you find that person that is a good fit for you. You may have to do a lot of dating. Like you may hear women sit there and say on these movies, I've kissed a whole bunch of frogs and, or I've gone through all these different guys and dated this guy, and dated this guy, and dated this guy, and nothing really worked out. What the heck do I do now? And guys, as guys, we have to look at it the same way, because in this day and age, it's no longer the man is he's the hunter and the women are the one being hunted. You have women out there right now that are hunting for men. You've heard the stories about the women that'll go out and find the guy, hook up with the guy. If the guy is doing real well, they'll latch on to him and will say, hey, I'm going to get the best that I can, get as much out of him as I can. And if you're coming out of a relationship and you want to get back into another one, you want something that's going to be long lasting, loving, nurturing, not to get too sappy with you guys, but you want something that's going to last. You want to have that friend, that confidant, someone that you can share with. If you've been married for any extended period of time, I think you fully understand what I'm trying to say with a relationship going forward with someone that you want to be with. And for me, during that time period, I had somebody, or so I thought. And it was on again, off again, on again, off again. And for me, an incident happened that just completely blew me out of the water, came out of the blue. I had no idea it was going to come and hit me the way it did. And yeah, do you still have twinges from that at the time? Yes, I do. And I think where the root of it came from was that during my lowest point in time, it was kind of that old scenario of two ships passing in the night. I was looking for something. She was looking for something. We found it, met up, and I thought that was it. But then I find out later on, it wasn't the case. Or as she had put it, it was complicated. I don't think I need to sit here and psychoanalyze myself, because that's not what this podcast is about. I'm looking at my engineer. I'll share the story with you later. He's giving me a thumbs up right now. But you have to find out when is the right time, and it's all on your own personal level. How much, I think it's based on how long has that relationship been that you've been with that person, how much emotion was involved with that person. And that will dictate, when do you think you've completely gotten that out of your system to where you can go ahead and move forward with another relationship. Now, that will segue into the next part of kids. When do you introduce your kids to that significant other or to that new person that you're dating? Again, it's that same standpoint of where do you feel comfortable within that relationship? If you met Susie on Friday night at the club, and then, you spent a wild weekend with her at the club, and then Monday morning or Monday afternoon when your kids come home from school, say, hey kids, look who I'm dating right now. No, that's not right, because, it's kind of like taking the car, getting a new car. You haven't even got the new car smell out yet. You need to make sure that this person is the right one. And you're going to go, like the women say, they've kissed a lot of frogs. You're going to end up doing the same thing until you find that person that, I'm comfortable with this one. I'm fine with this one. I'm okay with this one, to the point where I might want to start to introduce my kids. And I can't tell you how long it's going to be. 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, whatever. There is no timetable as to when it's going to happen. You just have to know, and you have to kind of sense it and figure out where it's going to lie to say that, yes, I'm ready to introduce them. Initially, what you want to do is get that feeling with that individual, see where their mindset is. Does their values match with your values? Does your goals within a relationship match with their goals within a relationship? And if it does, it's great. And then you can go ahead and move forward. If it's not, then you need to go ahead and move on. There's no rule that says that if you go out on a date with someone, you can't be friends. And for guys, and I'm sure there's probably at least one or two of them out there nodding their heads where you've gone out with a woman and you've dated a woman and they have their game. Well, I wouldn't say their game, their rules or their standards. And you might think everything worked fine, but then what happens? You end up in the friend zone and you're like, what the hell? My engineer is nodding at me, so I guess I'm touching on a good subject. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, hey, guess what? You can do the same thing too. So, and in this day and age, a good man, and here's a secret that I'm going to tell you guys right now. Women out there, a woman that's been in a relationship or been married and the relationship went south and went bad, what they want to have a good man. And if you are a good man and you exhibit that in your energy, your persona, the way that you see yourself and the way you feel, they will gravitate towards that. If they see that, hey, you're being responsible and taking care of your kids, that's a bonus. If your kids are living with you and you're doing, and they see, and I'm not talking about living with you saying that, hey, I'm using my kids for free money or I'm using them to get benefits or whatever. I'm talking about a real dad. I'm talking about a guy who is out there doing what they're supposed to do for their kids, to take care of their kids, do the right thing for their kids. Women will gravitate towards that. And you'll have all kinds of women. You'll have the good women, the good-hearted women, the good-natured women, the women that have the right, they know what they want in a man and they will move forward with that. You also get some of the ones that just want to latch on. But I think if you're a man, you're smart enough to pick that up and figure out, you know what, I can't deal with that. But the good women, the good-hearted women will see that and will gravitate towards that. And you'll know it. You'll sense it and you'll feel it. And then when it comes to time to bring the kids involved, when you know it's right, then you want to bring your kids in. And I'm not talking about bringing the kids in, well, hey, what's her, blah, 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 blah. She's going to come over here. She's spending the night. No, that's not the way to do it. You start off with something simple, something easy, maybe a park, maybe going out to the beach, maybe going out on a boat, maybe going out for a picnic or doing something along those lines. And then you can kind of gauge it, but you don't want to sit there and force this individual on your kids, because if you do, you're setting yourself up for failure and you're right back over at square one. So you have to look at where you're at emotionally, health-wise, before you even decide to embark on that next relationship or embark on that next path of trying to get involved in a relationship again. And then once you do that, you have to go out and look, because I can tell you now, women are going through and they're looking for a good man because they can't find them out there. Us as guys, the women, and I'm looking at my time, I'm probably going to go over my time. It's going to be a little bit longer than my normal shows. But the women, what they're looking for, like I said, is a good guy, a good person, a good man, a good-hearted individual. And when they look at us, they're thinking, okay, he wants to find someone that's going to get, that's going to give up what they want, give them what they want, get laid, blah, the stuff that, okay. I normally don't curse, but the shit that we used to do back in the day. Okay. I know this. I've been there. I've done that. Like I said, I tell stories about myself at times, but for those that know me, they know some of the stories that my mother used to say about me. And, and I bring that up because when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, you have one thing on your mind. And some guys will grow out of it. Some guys are still living in it now as they get older. So what you have to do as a man is figure out what it is that you want. And then when you figure out what it is that you want, you go out on the dating scene. And when you're out on the dating scene, then you can say, hey, I'm looking for this type of person, and you go out and look. Don't settle, because I can tell you now, women in this day and age, the women will not settle. So if they're not settling, why should you? And when you get to that point, then you can say, I'm comfortable with this individual. I'm spending time with this individual. I'm happy with this person. Then you want to try to bring that person into your kid's life, but you don't force it down your kids, because if you do that, that will create a whole new set of problems for not only yourself, but for your kids and for that relationship as a whole. So you have to make sure, and I want to stress this, you have to make sure that you're looking at what you want and your goals, and evident, and if the relationship didn't work out, the last one you was in, figure out what it is you did wrong and move forward. Being a military vet, there's we had a term called, what you did right, what you did wrong. It's like an after action review. What went right, what went wrong. And you have to look at it like that. If you want a long lasting relationship going forward, you have to look at what went well with the relationship, what didn't go right with the relationship. It could have been an issue with you. It could have been an issue with her. It could have been an issue with both parties. So you have to figure that out. And then when you figure that out, then you can go forward. Then you can go ahead and bring the kids in, and then you can have a much better relationship on both sides. So that one took a little bit longer than I had gotten planned. So and I think that this is something that we will more than likely come back in and revisit again. If I'm wanting you guys to give me some input, give me some advice. If you guys have some stories out there to share, I can keep it confidential. I'll just tell the stories and don't go any further than that. But just reach out to me and let me know. So with that being said, we're going to wrap this up. I know I told you way back when on the last show I was going to give you guys a recipe, but again, I ended up going too far with this one today, because this is something that I am personally passionate about, something that I personally lived through. And even now, you still have to kind of figure it out. And like I said, you may have to kiss several frogs before you figure out where it is you want to go. So, again, I'm your host, Mark Hill. And, as usual, you have any questions or comments, please send it to me at singlefatherstoday@gmail.com, and catch me out on Twitter on singlefatherstoday. Again, I'd like to wish you guys good luck. Hang in there and keep fighting.